As former President Trump maintains his lead in the 2024 GOP primary, the vice presidential field is reportedly wide open. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Mr. Trump could look to Representatives Elise Stefanik, Marjorie Taylor Greene, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, Kari Lake, Congressman Byron Donalds. In addition, Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who has clashed with Mr. Trump, is reportedly warming to the idea. We've talked to Mrs. Mace here many a time here on Morning in America. Mr. Trump in a Truth Social post saying the first GOP debate this month will let him see who he might consider for VP. It's unclear if he'll decide to join them on stage. Let's bring in Chris Stirewalt, NewsNation political editor. Chris, really, Marjorie Taylor Greene? I mean, what are the chances that Trump will choose a dark horse?
Well, look, it depends almost entirely on the condition under which Trump would win the nomination and what he thinks he needs at that time. If you recall from 2016, Trump was very much a dark horse himself, came from the back of the pack, secured a small plurality in the party, and went on to a very unexpected win that wasn't resolved until pretty much May or June, right? It took a long time for him to put it away. As a consequence, he felt the need to pick a running mate who would soothe the other side of the Republican Party, the traditional conservative side of the Republican Party. So he chose Mike Pence. Now, if Trump were to just storm to the nomination, if the polls didn't change and he went through, he might not feel that kind of obligation to take someone else, and he might be inclined to take someone who was from his populist, more insurgent MAGA wing of the Republican Party.
Well, I want to bring up Vivek Ramaswamy again because he is certainly surprising a lot of people. But what do you think? Do you think that there's someone in the Republican field right now who could come through, just like the former president did, and be a surprise nominee for the party?
Oh, for sure. We have a long way to go. It's 120 days from the first debate to the Iowa caucuses. There will be big changes, I expect, in the polling. Now, whether that is takes the form of the rest of the Republican Party consolidating behind somebody and that Trump has a real rival, whether they divide up into little clots and Trump can go through with a plurality, I don't know how it's going to go, but things will get weird, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, if they haven't already gotten weird. Who among the 2024 candidates do you think has a chance at being a VP candidate?
Well, it's a very bad job, as Mike Pence can attest. Working for Donald Trump as his vice president or anything can be very hazardous duty. And I think one of the things that Pence's candidacy does is it points out to other people who are ambitious people who want to get ahead that if you choose to go with Trump, it's going to cost you in the long run. And I think if anything that Mike Pence does in his candidacy, his testimony to that part, figurative and literal, probably has a chilling effect on those people those ambitious folks who might want to run with Trump.
You mentioned why Pence was a good selection for Trump in 2016. What kind of VP would he need now? And for that matter, what kind of VP would President Biden need? Should he be the nominee?
Well, President Biden better stick with Kamala Harris. I don't think that given some of his struggles with younger voters, minority voters, the reliance that Democrats have on women, swapping out running mates, despite the many political liabilities of Kamala Harris, would be wise at this point. For Trump, basically, it just comes down to what condition does he come in? And is he really making a play for the general election? If he really wants to unite the Republican Party, really wants to make a play for the general election, he would need to be able to convince conservatives and traditional Republicans to buy into his candidacy. And that would mean convincing another Pencean-like figure to lend their credibility to his campaign.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.